Hey world, Dave here with Zero to Dev, the channel following my journey to break into professional development. Today I have a tutorial on how to quickly download, install, and get started with the text editor Atom. This is going to be a no BS guide where I give you everything you need to have all the all the initial forms laid out and saved so you can get started coding as soon as possible. We'll be making an index.html, a CSS style sheet, and a JS form all laid out for you so that by the time you are done, you can get going with your project. Before we get started, if you enjoy content like this and would like similar content in the future, please like and subscribe with the notification bell turned on. Also, if you think I missed something this tutorial you believe is important to get started, or you just want to add anything to this, feel free to type out a comment below. Okay, well this tutorial is all about getting done fast, so let's get started. I'm going to open up my web browser. I'm using Google Chrome, and I just go to atom.io, and as you can see, it already comes up there. Now I have my site here, and depending on the operating system you have, normally Atom will detect it, and it'll make the recommendation there for what to download. So as you can see, it already knows I'm using Windows. I just click download, and it's going to get everything set up here. Once this is done, I will open up the executable, and it'll go to another window that takes a while, so I'll cut once that loads, and then I'll get back to you once everything is set up. So it's done downloading there. Open when done. It'll take a moment, but there should be a screen popping up that will basically let you know that everything is starting to install. There we go. Yeah, and this, once again, I have an older computer, so this stuff takes a little bit of a moment, but I just want to show you what will happen right before the main screen opens up. There we go. It's thinking. Okay, so this will be the screen you see for a little while. Once again, I'm going to cut now, and I'll get to the other screen to show you what actually pops up once Atom is done installing. Okay, and we're back. It took a little bit longer than I was hoping to record, so no problem. This is the welcome guide you'll see as soon as Atom is done installing and opens up. I get out of this, it's not a big deal. This is the welcome guide little button. This can prevent this from showing up in the future. This welcome guide is useful, but once again, we don't have time to go through this, right? The only things I recommend you do look at for real if you ever get a chance is install a package. You can click that and then look for Live Server, which is a great little feature. It's an add-on that lets you update your file in the browser as you're changing things instead of having to save and re-upload every time on the browser. Also, this feature to add a snippet, we'll be going over this a little bit, but basically this is just preset code that you can type in instead of having to type out all the code you need. Two ways to close these windows. You can click X, or you can also do Control W. As you can see, it gets rid of that. Then we need our file tree here. That'll be Control \, and you can also resize it here. This button can also bring the project tree in and out, but sometimes it disappears or it just doesn't load up right. Up here in the menu, if this disappears and pops up into there for you, you can just press Alt and that'll bring it back. So in case you want to go back to the welcome screen in the future, you can do Control-Shift-P, and it does two things. It shows all the shortcuts for that you currently have set here, but if you can also type in welcome. Oh, good, I typed it wrong. Welcome, as you can see, welcome shows up, and then you can bring back the welcome screen. So no worries if for some reason you get lost and it doesn't come back up. Now we're going to open up a new window here. It's going to open up our new file, one. I'm going to do it two, and this is with Control N that I'm doing this, but you can also go for our last file. You can also just click new file and it'll bring that there. So this will be our HTML, our CSS, and our JavaScript file. We're going to get this all started up, then we're going to get these saved, and then we're going to link them to our HTML file to start working. I want to add my project folder here, which is going to be the folder that holds all my files for this tutorial. I already have it named test folder, and as you can see, I have it set in the desktop, but you can create it wherever you need to. Select, and this brings that back up. No worries, we can close that again. Okay, Control N, Control N, Control N, and let's get started here. So first things first, I want to point you out over here. This will be the grammar selector, which basically lets the computer know what a specific language you're working on. So right now, if I type in HTML and tab, nothing's going to happen, and that's because I don't have it set to recognize that I'm working on an HTML file yet. There's two ways you can do that. The first way is you can click here, and you can actually type in HTML and click on HTML, and it'll start, it'll actually change this to HTML. You can start typing things out. But the way I want to do it for this tutorial, just to show you, is you can do Control Shift S, which is to save as. Control S is just to save. And then here I'm going to type in index.html in my test folder file here. And what this does, this is really important for your initial file. This lets the web server know what file to look for. It's already set to look for this when you get started. So make sure if you're new to web development in any way that you will always have your initial file saved as index.html there. And once you save that, it will go ahead and change down here, as you can see. And then if I type in HTML and then tab, you can already see it's recommending things to me. Now I have my snippet here, which is, this is the preset code I was talking about. So let's get this started so we can see that everything worked right. Just do welcome. And then here I'm just going to add something quick. Okay, and then close that out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save, Control S. And just to test everything, I am going to go to my test folder here. Index.html, let's open that up. And there you go. So now I know that my HTML file is, everything's been set the way it needs to, and I can get started with the rest of my work. So with this, what we're going to want to do is we're adding external files. This is the main convention to do. You basically create your separate CSS and JavaScript file. You link it to your HTML file. For CSS, the normal convention to do it, if you're just going to link an external file, is just in the top over here. You can add the styles individually in each element. So I could actually add style here, etc. Or I could also just add the actual code in the head portion here. But this is better because it lets you establish and connect different web files to the CSS, so you can have the same style applied to different pages. So I already have some pre-typed out code that I'm just going to slap in real quick just to save time on this video, but you can feel more than free to pause and just copy it down. Just note that I do have my CSS folder here, so if you're having issues, make sure that you have your folder, and if it's not there, you want to get rid of this part if you're going to save it in your main, but normally you would add a separate file. So with that, I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm just going to go ahead and type something out to show that everything has been linked up. Oh. Just something basic. Okay. Get all this stuff tabbed out. And as you can see here, it's not highlighting yet. And once again, we gotta, oh, not Control Shift P, Control Shift S. Save as. And as we saw before, I'm going to save it as style.css, and this should link everything up. And as you can see, it's already changed to recognize the CSS. So I'm going to, I already have my CSS linked here. I already have the portion of the file that the CSS is going to alter. And I have everything saved up. So let's go ahead and take a look at how it's going to change. And there you go. So my CSS is now linked and it's applied. So more or less the same thing with the JavaScript. The JavaScript, you can add it more or less the same ways. You can add a script tag in the head portion here, which is more or less the portion that lets the computer know what to add in the background kind of stuff. You can either add script tags here. You can also just add the script tags in the body portion, but the main conventional way to do it is to add it between the closing body and the closing HTML tag. And what that does is it's basically just involves the order that the computer is processing things. It's just more efficient for it to be in the bottom here. It just really depends on what you're trying to do, but if you're new to all this, the main way to do it is just to set it all down here. So once again, I have another little quick snippet typed up to add here. And as you can see, it's staying... it's not highlighting like it was with the rest of this stuff. This happens sometimes, and if it happens to you, the main way to do it, as you can see, it still says HTML, nothing's changed. So if you have an issue like this, what you do is you can just highlight this and go back to this portion, and you can just click auto detect, and as you can see now, it has it's connected with all this. So this is linking my JavaScript file to the HTML. And now it's recognized grammatically too by the software. So I'm going to save this file. Control S is what I just pressed to save it. I'm going to go to my JavaScript file now, and I'm just going to add, once again, some quick code to just show that everything's connected. I'm going to do alert. Okay. Now I'm going to save as, or I'll just do Control Shift S again. And you can do it either way. Normally I would just save the file first, but I wanted to kind of explain some things to you. So JavaScript, go into that JavaScript folder, main.js. Same thing, as you can see, it highlighted there. And I actually want to add the semicolon. Don't want to forget the semicolon at the end there. So I'm going to save again. Save here. And go back. And there you go. The JavaScript is active now, and that's about it. More or less, that is exactly how you get started. And now you're able to go ahead and type out whatever you need and begin doing your work. And there it is. This is pretty much what you need to immediately get started in Atom. I might do another video in the future where I go over lots of the basic features like a lot of other videos do, but I really thought it was good to have something like this made for anyone who doesn't really have the time to browse around and has to get something done fast without having to navigate a bunch of different videos. So if this video helped and you would like to see similar content in the future, please like and subscribe with the notification bell turned on, and I will see you next time.